Welcome in. German Dave just made it in. How's it going, Dave?
Hello. Everything's
All
fine.
right.
How are you?
Good. Audio's coming in fine. I feel like it's me and Dash because we're always sliding in last minute. So you're very welcome to the crew. You already got the style.
Yeah, Discord decided to do a software update right now. That's why I came a bit late. And yeah,
It's all good. So you said you were watching Dune. Did you just come back from watching Dune?
no, I watched Dune midweek on Wednesday.
Oh, that's okay. I had a feeling you did it just before now. How was it?
It was fine. It's a bit of how should I say it? You have to have a bit of ADHD, I think, to like these kind of films.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my buddy went last night, so I'm interested. But anyways, it is.
But I liked it very much.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I'll probably watch it. I'll give it a go. So how do you feel today with the kickoff of F1? It's like predictions. It's kind of hard to feel really who's gonna. I mean, other than Max, but like other 10 to like say or 2 to 10. It's like nobody knows. How are you feeling about it? Who do you think's got this?
Honestly, I would love to say something different, but it's 100% gonna be Max all the way the whole season. But behind him, it's like according to long run pace and everything, it's very close between the Mercedes, Ferrari, McLarens, and even Aston Martin.
Yeah.
So I think it will be a track by track basis. Today, definitely Max will take this home, I think, from pole position, and behind that we gotta see how the start pans out, and then
it's a wild one. So I think what we decide here too, just for everyone out there, we're not going to go super technical today, because we're flexing a little bit from a footy channel, branching out to F1. I mean I dabbled with F1 a little bit last summer during the footy break, but we're trying to focus in on F1. But at least from the start, we're going to make it more digestible for people just kind of coming in. Just try to figure it out. And you've been watching F1 for a while, haven't you, Dave? Longer than I have.
Probably since the early 2000s, yes.
Yeah, so much longer than me. I got into it a few years ago. I swear it wasn't Drive to Survive. I don't even like Drive to Survive. But no, I got... It's something I always kind of like, just sports in general, kind of always somewhat paid attention to, but never got into. And for whatever reason, I was like, screw it. I'm doing it. And one day, that's it. I just started watching. It was the Italian Grand Prix, and just, being a simp for all things Italian, I was like, I'm watching it today. That's how it all started a few years ago for me. So you're definitely the resident expert over me. I'm just here to string it along, have some fun, cheer on Ferrari.
We're just here for the fun, anyways. So
yeah, we're all
let's see.
Yeah. So, qualifying yesterday, that was a bit of a weird one.
Close. Yeah. From top to bottom, it was very close, and honestly, I think F1 doesn't put enough emphasis on how close the field actually seems to be this year. Like Red Bull is head and shoulders above everybody else, but like a second was it, I think, between the first and last. It's crazy, actually.
It's pretty tight. Now, my big question is Red Bull dominant, or is just Red Bull continuing that trend of having a solid car, and Max is just that much better than everyone else? Because we see Perez.
Yeah. No, I think the car is very above solid, but I think it's completely set up for Max to drive it good.
Yeah,
like he has a very specific driving style that he wants a loose front end for example, and Perez wants it just to stick. Max likes it loose because he just can throw it in the corner and and care about the rare tires and how he turns in later. And Perez wants just a completely stable car, which they of course build the car towards the needs of their number one driver. But this is the case in every team. Every team has a number one driver picked out, like nearly every team. Ferrari develops their car towards Leclerc, and now with Carlos leaving at the end of the year, even more so, I think. And I think Mercedes will develop this year's car even into the direction of George, for example.
Well, they would have to, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now I just have to have my side note here. Did you just see that fly past by an Airbus?
Oh yeah.
I was like, okay, like, and you know I'm an aviation guy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see a fly past of an Airbus. Nobody cares. No, that was just like pure marketing.
Oh, of course, but this is their kind of flex. For example, Fly Emirates at the Abu Dhabi GP.
Yeah. Well,
it's Etihad, I think. They fly with the Airbus A380 as well because it's like their flagship airplane.
Yes. There's a whole like political thing about these regional airlines, that region in particular, right? And I've flown on a couple of them as well. It is a bit of a next level experience than compared to say what I would have with Air Canada. And I've flown Lufthansa as well, which is like marginally better. So
they're about the same.
Yeah, they're similar. Yeah. And then you go to the like Kuwaiti Airlines or Emirates, and it's like, all right, this is clearly next level.
I'm not yet at that money range where there's a big difference for me in airline experience.
No, it's like sometimes it's like that's the only choice, right? And they just have that route. Like I was just on a Kuwaiti Airlines one time randomly for like a short haul. It wasn't like the whole thing, and it was just like it's just different. It was just different, you know. It was empty, and that's the other because they're just flexing. They don't care if they fill up all the seats. They're just like, I'm a prince and I got an airline. Look at my 777. But this is part of F1, really, the whole marketing and the big cheese, if you will.
It's a whole big sponsorship show.
LJJ is a pilot. Go on. What type of pilot? What kind of license? What are we talking about? Yeah, we didn't know this. Come on. I just fix the buggers. I fix your mistakes.
I hope he's not certified for the 737.
That's just the max. The 737's classic.
Yeah.
It's the max. It's just the max. Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. They're frame 60 years old. Give it a break. So Lando Norris, actually, he already went through his control electronics. You only get 2. So he already blew his electronics yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. Now, Ferrari blew theirs pretty early on last year, and the second one did last the rest of the season.
And one of the Ferraris, if I'm correct, blew also their engine out in the first race, I think. One of them, at least.
Yes, yeah. So Ferrari had like very early on issues, but then nothing. Like there, for the whole grid, really, there weren't like reliability in general seems really good. Like this new generation, so it makes things a little less interesting in that sense because you're not going to be like, oh, Ferrari's going to blow up today, you know. Whereas a couple of years ago, you'd expect it.
Yeah. No, all of them became really bulletproof. In the whole testing sessions, I think there were like 8-hour sessions, or how long were the sessions?
There were 8 hours. Remember. Yeah, 4. They had 4 hours twice a day. They'd break for lunch.
Okay. But
only one driver at a time.
Basically.
Yeah, so each driver got 4 hours.
And there wasn't a single red flag due to technical reasons or something. The only one they had was the drain cover, I think.
Yeah.
And I forgot what was. It was for track reasons, basically.
Logan Sargent had. I think it was just a yellow. He didn't bring out the red, but he
with
threw some
his
gravel.
spin, yes. But the cars are really bulletproof. But we will see now. Like they will go full speed. We'll see if that is true.
Yeah, so we're just moments away. 8 minutes now. The engineers are doing their last moment checks, strapping the drivers in. There's Carlos Sainz. And I mean, he's been impressive too. He's really picked it up since the end of last season. And
Carlos, I think at least is of the two Ferrari drivers the more consistent, if you can say so. Leclerc, though, has the way higher peaks.
Yeah, he definitely peaks a little more. He has a lot more on his shoulders, and I feel like, especially with all those poles, he's got, I believe it's 25 poles, but only, or 23 poles and 5 race wins.
Yeah. And he converted, I think, only three wins, 3 pole positions to wins.
Yeah, and it's the craziest stat, but it's also testament to how bad Ferrari's actual race pace has been. That eating tires, essentially.
Yeah, but also to how good the Red Bull is. Even if the Mercedes had really good race pace last year, but if Mercedes started from pole position, Max would have won all those races as well. I think Hamilton had won pole position in Hungary last year, and Max won that race by 25 seconds or something.
Well, the only non-Red Bull driver to win last season was Carlos
Sainz. Yeah.
So, a bit of luck maybe, but you always need a little bit of that. But, he had to hold on, but he held on and he got past the line. So, again, interesting. His contract's up. He's getting replaced by Lewis Hamilton, which adds a little more drama in the Mercedes paddock now.
And in the Drive to Survive world.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll watch it next year just to see
they
that
will,
side
they
of
will
it.
milk it. They will milk this.
Oh, for sure. I don't know how crazy, because there was no driver movement last year. The biggest thing was Gunther Steiner getting fired there just a month back now.
And it was the first time in Formula One history where the driver grid stayed completely the same.
Yeah, it's wild. But now 13 contracts are up coming up this year, so it's completely the opposite direction, which is interesting. Just 1 year before the rule change again.
Oh, it will be completely pandemonium, but also the drivers and the agents and also the teams themselves wanted the contracts to end at the end of the 2024 season, because they have a complete regulation reset for 2026, and they want to have their drivers in the team a year earlier so they can accommodate them into the team, work them in basically, and to start in full power at 2026. And we will see. There will be a lot of changes, definitely. Some drivers won't have a seat, I think. Some of the older ones, I don't know if Bottas, for example, will make it. Fernando, only God knows where he will drive or if he drives.
That's true. I mean, Fernando, I would say he's my favorite right now, but he's mid 40s. How long does he go? Aston Martin, I feel like they would keep him. But who knows? Nobody really knows.
Yeah, we don't know yet. They have some pretty good juniors on their way. Filipe Drugovic, a Brazilian guy, dominated F2. Yeah, we all know Lance will have a seat, so.
You would think he would have to do pretty bad, but if he maintains mid-table, I think he continues on.
Yeah, I think he reached his peak. You remember when he started? When was it? 2017, 18, something like that, and crashed every race, and everybody wrote him off. But now he's just became a mid-tier driver, which is pretty okay, I think.
Yeah, he's doing enough for his father to not be upset, and with him being the only Canadian driver, now that Latifi is gone. Another daddy's boy, which is funny. The two daddy's boys were Canadians, but it just makes it kind of hard to like.
My brother wants a top 10 list. What I think the top 10 will how they will finish.
Oh, so like at the end of the season?
No, after this race.
After this race, okay. Today. What are the predictions?
I say Verstappen wins, Leclerc stays second, Russell third. Hold up, I gotta get the qualifying results again.
It really is a toss-up. I have a lot of faith in Ferrari, but then after seeing Mercedes kind of get rid of a bit of doubt with qualifying, and this is the thing. Russell qualifies a bit better. Hamilton further down the order.
Hamilton has the way better race pace.
And then that's the thing, right? Long term, and then they end up. We'll see. Because last year there was a couple times where they start rubbing shoulders a little bit.
Yeah,
that's not good for the team. And then, of course, if Hamilton makes a mistake, is he doing it for Ferrari? There's going to be all that drama this year.
Yeah, especially the Italian media.
Yeah, but Russell in between Leclerc and Sainz, so that could be very interesting. There's Charles. I mean, he's going to try to push Max right off the beginning to see if he can make a race of it. Yeah. But if he can't, he's going to have to go play the long game, right? And make sure his buddy gets in behind and pushes Russell back,
definitely.
Right? Yeah, so that's going to be the little interesting thing at the front of the pack. And if Hamilton can come up and meet Russell, or if those papayas kind of give him some trouble. A couple minutes away now. They are all lined up. The engineers haven't rushed away yet. So the engineers, you're at the 3-minute mark when they start running.
Who do we think finishes P10?
P10. Yuki Tsunoda is probably the most likely if you go by the numbers. I think he has the most P10 finishes.
And the most P11s too.
Yeah, he's like the P10 11 merchant. So
yeah.
I just think on the numbers, you got to go with the Yuki.
I say Tsunoda. Yeah. So Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell is the podium. Then Hamilton, Sainz, Norris, Alonso, Piastri on 8, Perez on 9, and Tsunoda on 10.
Okay, I'm gonna go crazy. I gotta have faith. It's the beginning of the season. It's no secret I'm a Ferrari fanboy, so I'm gonna vibe on Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz on the podium.
All right.
I know it's completely biased opinion, but I'm vibing on it.
No, it can absolutely happen. It can absolutely happen.
Okay, we got the lights. And it's hanging.
Commercial break.
It's hanging.
Commercial break for me.
Oh, jeez, they're holding up.
Sky Germany just shows Alpine commercial.
Oh, there you go. So here's the formation lap. Yeah, they held the lane on that formation lap. It's like, why? It's just, let's go. I'm getting excited for no reason. But this is the beginning of the season. We have to get excited, right?
Yeah. I think my stream is a little bit behind you, if I'm correct.
We're going to have to sync that up somehow, or we'll figure it out one way or another. So I have to see if I can get any data up as well. I think they changed things around.
For me, they didn't even start the formation lap. Thank you, Sky.
Okay. Luckily, this player is good, so I can I'll sync up with you today. That's no problem. Yeah, so anyways, I'm trying to get some of the data. We'll see if they block it out, though. Because they used to have the time clock.
Yeah.
And I don't see them displaying that this time. Yeah. Dan's coming in. How's it going, Dan? They probably realized, people like us were doing that kind of thing. But I mean, it's just the timing list. Come on.
Man, the race starts always give me chills.
Yeah. Okay, possible race strategy: soft, hard, soft, or a soft, hard, hard. Apparently, the hards are doing well on this track because it eats the tires a little bit.
Yeah, it is a very coarse track surface. It's very like sharp stones that eat the tires apart.
Yeah.
And so the hards do really well here. The hards and the mediums were very close to each other in performance. But what came out from the practice sessions was that the harder tire was way more consistent. The medium was a bit more peaky.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Yeah,
decided to
mediums.
use
Nobody likes
the
the
hards
medium.
most of them.
Yeah.
Not on this track at least.
Yeah. Of course, just on this one. Mediums typically do fairly well, but not today.
And Red Bull was the only team to have a fresh soft tire for the race as well.
Yeah, so the teams weren't saving the softs because the strategy is more hard heavy. So
yeah, guten Tag, Dan.
No, I will not be going to F1 in Montreal this year. I don't have a real good excuse. I'm just not going this year. One of these years I will go. It's not a problem.
I'm still thinking whether to go to one of the European races, to Austria or Italy or
that'd be fun. Like Montreal. So it's decent for me because my sister actually lives in Montreal, so I don't have to get a hotel or anything. I just have to kind of show up, and it's a 4-hour drive, so it's really not that bad. It's just I just have to spend hundreds of dollars on a ticket.
Yeah.
So how's your stream luck?
All cars are lined. No, the Alpines are the last ones arriving now for me.
Okay, I just got the green flag, so I'm a few seconds ahead. Okay, I have the lights. You have the lights?
Now the guy with the green flag went over the track. All right. Lights are out.
Okay. I'm just a few seconds ahead of you, but we are underway for the F1 season.
Crazy start by Verstappen.
Yeah, that's the other things are so fast off the line, but we're battling.
Oh, that was close.
The Papaya's tire to tire.
There's an Aston Martin gone.
Did you say gone?
It's fun at least. It was Stroll, I think, yeah.
But Max is making a gap right off the bat, but so is Charles.
And DRS will be activated after the first lap. That's a rule change.
Yeah, and Perez is actually right on Russell's ass right now. That's gonna be the Red Bulls are going. But then there's Carlos. They're all on each other. But I mean, this is exciting. Everyone's pretty tight, and if
everyone's tight, yeah.
If they can keep with this tight with DRS going, man, this is a race. What's the story, the background, why Germany doesn't have a race?
Because the races to do a race event is a pretty expensive fee today. And the problem is the interest in Germany isn't that high anymore since like Vettel retired, Mick isn't driving anymore. And they took the data from the viewership and did researches and everything, and Germany is not as excited anymore for the F1 that they are like ready to pay the 50 million you need for a race to take place at your track. And that's a problem. The German fans are fans of a single driver, not of the sport itself. So if they don't have a driver to cheer for, there's just no interest.
Hulkenberg already in the pits. Perez overtaking Sainz early on. And we do have DRS active. So here we go. And somehow DRS active. Yeah, it took a bit of damage. Maybe that was with Stroll. But I don't get it. Verstappen is just like, oh, DRS is active. Okay, I'll push just to get that second.
I pull out there.
Nuts, absolutely nuts. So maybe this is what we'll see is like Verstappen ahead, Leclerc ahead, and then we have everyone else.
Yeah.
Because 3, it's the tightness is starting at 3.
Yeah.
And it's really tight. It's only a couple spots too to have a real good launch. There's about 4 straights, but 2 of them are long to really launch past them. So we'll see. It's going to be tight.
The first sector is very nice to overtake. Those slow corners with heavy braking zones. They're like really good overtaking spots, but overall just the straights with DRS.
Oh, Russell going around Leclerc. That came out of nowhere. Speaking of those tight turns, and oh man, that is such a technical part of the track as well.
Yeah.
So Russell out of nowhere, and Perez right on top now. Well, there goes some Ferrari predictions early on, perhaps.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a bit of a lockup as well. Getting pushed. Verstappen
between Perez and Sainz also 2 seconds already.
Yeah, this is nuts.
I think he killed his tires already.
He may have.
Man.
And he did lock up, so his softs, his used softs, but everyone's on used softs except the Red Bulls. But there you go for the fresh. That little extra edge of a clean tire off the line, and the Red Bulls pushing. Russell's finding some pace early on. Hamilton's still at 9th.
Behind Norris, everything's close. Alonso 7 tenths, Piastri 4 tenths of him, and Hamilton 5 tenths of Piastri. Yeah. From there, it's just like tenths between the cars.
Yeah, we're getting into a 2nd, 3rd, 4th DRS train with Sainz hopefully closing in to make that 2nd to 5th. That battle's going to be tight. And that does nothing but help Verstappen, right? As he just races away in clean air.
Definitely, yeah.
And that's part of the problem. That's what creates a lot of Max's dominance, is that because everyone else is so tight, they have to battle.
Yeah, yeah. They are battling. All the teams behind Max do their strategy, fighting each other, and Red Bull can just do their own thing.
Yeah.
They're not even showing their whole pace. Like the whole of last season, they didn't show everything they had in the tank.
Yeah, that's the feeling. Nobody really knows exactly what they have, but you can just see race by race what they give. Interesting as well, going back to aviation, because I'm such a nerd with that. Watched a thing on the SR71, how like the listed speed was 3.2, but like it consistently went faster. So it's like, this is what they say they can do it. So, you throw the Russians off, but in reality. So that's kind of like Red Bull.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's Stroll. They're showing Stroll.
Yes,
Sorry,
there's
the curb. Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, it's since decade. This is a thing in F1 where they try to hide their pace. Red Bull did it in their 4-year dominance with Vettel. Mercedes did it in the 8 years with Hamilton and Russell. They don't like to show their cards because the more you show, the likelier it gets that the tech you build gets outlawed quicker, and therefore they don't know. They don't want to show what they have like in the hand.
Oh, of course. Makes absolute sense. Why would you show your hands at all? Kind of like going back to footy there, Jurich, one of Jurich's staff there at the Napoli training ground.
No, former Mercedes engineer said in our dominant years, like especially 14 and 15, where they won basically every race with Hamilton and Rosberg. He said they had lots of upgrades already in the pipeline and done. And if they saw that the team caught up a little bit, then they brought their updates to the car. So they didn't bring them to their own schedule because they didn't need to. And when they saw some cars brought updates, some made a little bit of time up on them, then they brought their new shiny toys to the car.
So Leclerc is calling track limits on Russell, and he might have just had another track limits. So maybe Russell's feeling the pressure now, and he's starting to lose that grip.
Yeah, it's Leclerc's also under a second behind him.
Yeah, so that could be interesting. We don't really know long-term pace of any of these cars right now if they can hold on to their tires. But Hamilton stuck back there in ninth still. He doesn't. You would expect him to make a couple early spots, but he's just locked in there in the pack.
But the Aston Martin fell back. Maybe he can get that one.
There's Piastri's overtake on Alonso. So now you have the two McLarens working together. Yeah, things are nice and tight there, 2-5. And yeah, the McLarens, they lack just a bit of pace, and that's holding everyone else back. Which is interesting, right? Because McLaren was supposed to be considered up there at the start of the season with McLaren, with Mercedes and Ferrari.
Yeah.
And Norris now on the radio saying we're going to plan B, whatever that may be.
The thing is, we don't know about the characteristics of the new cars yet. Last year, for example, the McLaren, especially at the start of the season, ate his tires up like the Haas and the Ferrari.
McLaren looked really bad at the beginning of last year.
Yeah, and they got a pretty good hold of it. Ferrari had big problems with the tire wear, but also got a pretty good hold of it at the end of the season. Because you saw they were pretty competitive then and beat the Mercedes on merit on race pace.
Yeah.
And but what the McLaren and Aston Martin and Mercedes had in common, and we didn't know if it was just aerodynamic, if the car was draggy, or if the engine wasn't that good, they were very slow on the straights.
Sainz saying he has more. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. Sainz is looking to push right now. He's got the pace, and we'll see what Ferrari says if they give him the go-ahead now. Oh, but Perez overtaking Leclerc. So now this is what gets interesting if Ferrari, they have to make a call because Sainz is right on the ass of Leclerc right now, who's just seeming to drop pace.
It is definitely the tires already because he overtook him on acceleration, not even at the end of the straight. He got way better out of the corner.
So interesting. I wonder though, the strategy is this just a soft compound? Will the hards change things up? If not, I mean, Ferrari's just same issues, right? As it was just said, they
right now it looks like the same issue, but we will see.
But still, DRS, it's still a battle there. It will be.
But Sainz looks competitive. It's only Leclerc for now that
I like Sainz. I'm upset. Like I feel bad that he's losing his Ferrari seat because he's proven that he deserves it. Even I think he's on par with Charles, honestly.
I agree with that, but this is a typical thing of Ferrari, like raised Leclerc as the heir to drivers like Schumacher, who was also there, Vettel and these drivers, and they picked him as their golden boy, and now they stick with it.
Yeah, so we just saw there Leclerc had a bit of a lock up, went wide, and that's how
his tires are gone, honestly. With all, acceleration is not good.
Yeah, they want to stay in that DRS pack, though. I understand why they may hold off a couple more laps, but when they might be the first to go in, and I hope they don't pit them both at the same time again, because oh man, they do that and it's never a good thing. Hamilton needs to do better. He should do better. He's now right on Alonso, so he should be able to pass Alonso.
I think soon now Alonso's out of the second window. Hamilton, so Alonso hasn't got the DRS anymore. Hamilton has it. Should be now the next couple of laps.
Yeah. Carlos losing a bit of grip. Lap 9, I imagine it's about time.
Yeah.
It's just the strategy that puts him out right in the middle of the pack.
Again?
We were going plan A, coming from Leclerc, with Sainz locking up again.
Wasn't that Leclerc? Sorry, my stream is a bit laggy. I thought Leclerc locked up again.
That was Sainz right up behind Leclerc. Right. I mean, they're both locking up, just killing whatever they have left in those tires.
The question is Leclerc trying to save some tires, or or Sainz just did he save a bit earlier and now he's killing his tires? We will see.
I feel like Leclerc killed him a little bit more, trying to maintain that second place, whereas Sainz just, he lost the position at this point, right? So, yeah, I think he's playing Sainz again, more consistent. On the 10th lap now, and still no calls of the pits. So they're maintaining. The McLarens are comfortably behind them. So that
now Perez made the second up.
Oh yes, Perez, and there's Hamilton overtaken. Yeah, so Perez within DRS zone now. Might be that classic Red Bull 1-2.
Yeah. Yeah, Hamilton, I knew as soon as Alonso didn't have the DRS from the cars in front of him, it was over.
Yeah, unfortunate.
But now I'm intrigued to see the Mercedes versus the McLarens.
Logan Sargent is out of the race. I'll see if he rejoins, but he's definitely off the track. And they did indeed change the data channel thing this year. So instead of it being a window, it's an actual stream. So that's why I'll make a workaround for next week. Sargent is back under power. 20 seconds back. I think he's going to continue the race. Sainz, is he going to overtake? And he's on the inside. Don't fight too hard, guys. Oh, there it is. Sainz does take fourth. That was tight, and the sparks flying. That was actually exciting. Sainz proving that he deserves to be in front. Doesn't need team orders. He's like, I got this, guys.
I just hope he maintained some of his tire life.
Yeah. That was a pretty clean take. It was tight, but it was clean.
Yeah.
So he's 1.8 behind Perez. So this is where it gets interesting again. If Russell holds back Perez enough, that's going to allow Sainz to get onto the back of him if he can't maintain pace. Which he might. We'll see. We'll see how how it hashes out through the sectors.
Yeah, but if they play the team game a little bit, they can Carlos can pull Leclerc and his DRS a little bit.
Tow him, yeah. Assuming Leclerc can do that, because we saw that last year where Leclerc couldn't maintain. Yeah, what a sweet overtake by Carlos. And there's Logan's lockup. Just a lockup. Or the brakes? His brakes on it went. Sargent is in the pits. George Russell. Okay, so pits underway. Leclerc in. So is Russell. Sargent back out. He is now 1 minute 4 seconds behind. He might get lapped by by Verstappen today. So Leclerc comes out in 14th, Russell out in 12th. So Bottas splits them coming out of the pits. Those state cars, they're the easiest to spot this year, aren't they?
They're the easiest to spot, definitely.
It's nice to have a bit of splash of color.
Yeah.
Did you see how Alpine pretty much got rid of all their color, most of their paint off?
It's bare carbon fiber on their car.
Yeah, because they're overweight.
And even with that, they're slow. They're overweight. They have a draggy car. They don't have grip or anything. Just everything is horrible with that car.
And last year, they're saying they can compete for a top 3.
Yeah.
Come on.
And don't forget, they fired Ottmar Schaffner because they said he can't bring them like on the winning lane.
Yeah, well, that was false. Perez in the pits now.
But when have they ever made good decisions? The Alpine team, so.
Hamilton now, so everyone's making their pits. We'll see. And we don't know yet how these teams heat up their hard tires, because some teams need 2-3 laps to get them going. Unless you're Red Bull, then they just work instantly, apparently. But yeah, for those who might be new to the sport, the higher compound of tire will take longer to warm up and get into temperature. And even then will have less grip than the softer compound.
Yeah.
But they last longer.
Yeah.
And with a rough surface like Bahrain, just lasts that much longer than the softer stuff.
Yeah. But if they don't have them in the right temperature window, even then the harder tire, the longer lasting tire doesn't give them any performance. So some of them also changed the tires back. Do you remember the Hungary race where it was ice cold, although it was in the summer, and the Ferraris put the hard tires on, didn't get any temperature on them, and just stuck the whole race and brought Leclerc, I think, 5 or 4 laps before the race ended to the pits to change the tires back.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes
that was peak Ferrari strategy time.
Yeah, but that just goes to show how a little bit of drop in temperature can completely change your strategy. So Sainz still not in the pits. They're letting him have some clean air.
Yeah.
So Sainz is managing tires better, it seems.
I think Sainz did that always better than Leclerc.
He is given the box now, though. So gave himself some nice distance there. We'll see how.
Maybe it's also a secret Ferrari strategy to bring Leclerc in front of Sainz again with the undercut.
Don't say that. Come on. And then Sainz would be coming out with fresher tires and then be pushing them. Oh, man. The clown show. That being said, we should be fair. and just point out that we focus a lot on Ferrari because they're always competing at the top, but they're always kind of making these little mistakes. You'll have teams like Alpine doing this exact same thing, but nobody's paying attention.
Yeah, of course. No, Ferrari is like, it's the equivalent to Juventus. They're
Same
doing
owner,
well,
same people.
everything is fine, but as soon as they lose, they make a wrong managerial error or something, and just everybody shits themselves.
Good pit by Sainz. Let's see what that clock's at.
Oh, for me, Sainz he's just coming in now. You're a bit ahead of me again.
Sainz. Oh, they just, are you kidding me? Of course, you called it.
I watched enough Ferrari in my life.
And he's still complaining about locking up on fresh tires. Is his setup that far off from Carlos's today? That might just be it. Maybe a bit of downforce issues or suspension geometry.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe they just went for Leclerc again with the qualifying friendlier setup, and with Carlos, like, better for race pace. But they're both locking up. I don't know.
Well, they're sitting 6th, 7th coming out of the pits, so still a bit to shake out. Alonso and Albon still holding on in 2nd and 3rd now. Of course, not pitting, but kind of funny to see them up there. And Verstappen, just so gentle.
Just chilling. 30 seconds in front of his teammate.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So Alonso get in the box. Albon should be getting it soon. What does locking mean? So when you lock the tires under braking, so instead of your tires spinning, they lock up tight and create a flat spot now because they're dragging across the asphalt, which now that you have a flat spot, gives you less grip, which will cause you to spin out or lock up and just make it worse and worse. So it gets exponentially worse the more you do it. So the cleaner you can race, the better long term you can do. So it's smoother is faster.
Yeah. So F1 is not a sport where you want to drift or do lockups or things like that. Like Dave said, just smooth driving gets rewarded.
And here we go. Leclerc, Sainz back in their 4th, 5th position. Red Bull's up top with Russell, the meat in that sandwich, in 3rd. So kind of back to pre-pit positions now. McLaren's Norris, Piastri 6, 7, Hamilton 8, Zhou actually in 9th, and Alonso in 10th. Tsunoda coming up on Stroll, going for that P11. Now Sainz is only 4 tenths behind Leclerc. Leclerc 9 tenths behind Russell.
This is one of them where it looks like the Ferraris will crash.
Don't say that.
Man.
But it makes it interesting.
Like both drivers complaining, both angry, both looking up.
Oh, the lunge coming on the inside, Sainz. And he does it clean. What a beautiful pass. Sorry, you were a few seconds behind me.
No, all good, all good.
Verstappen finally getting the box. The backs?
Man, and he threw it like inside the corner very late, that overtake.
That was beautiful.
That was a beauty.
Whoever's getting Sainz next year is getting a hell of a driver. Now, Russell, watch out, because now Sainz is faster and closing in more so than Leclerc was.
And the Mercedes is horrible on the hard tires.
Oh, man. And Sainz locked up doing that as well. Silly. You should have just let him pass, man. Just play the team game. There's Verstappen in the pits. Finally, after 18 laps on softs. Insane. Now, for the lingo as well, box. So the race engineer will come on the radio and say box, 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 which means go into the pit box.
Yes.
So you go into the pits. Leclerc, my car is fully going to the right when I'm braking. Wow. Well, maybe he does have a legitimate issue. Like this, I cannot fight. It's effing dangerous. Now Russell under pressure. Sainz almost going for it. Right on his ass. Sainz wants this. Watch out. Another lunge. Bam! Sainz is on fire.
He's definitely.
Bam. Third spot. Less than 3 seconds on Perez. Now that's going to be the interesting. This is what will answer my question. Is the Red Bull, the car itself, that much better? Or is it Max making that much better? Because if Sainz comes up on Perez, that pretty much answers.
Yeah, but we will see. We don't know the strategy. Maybe they're saying just hold the others back, cruise around a little bit.
Did they need to do that? Because Verstappen is just like he's essentially in free pit zone, right? Because he's so far ahead.
He's at least safe for the undercut, but he's not out of, like, if there's a safety car or something.
Sure, safety car.
Yeah.
So they just
maybe that's what they're trying, but it also can be just Perez not getting along with the car as usual.
It's so interesting. So you have you can say the two fastest cars on track with Red Bull and Ferrari.
Yeah.
Both have a driver that have it locked in, and both have a driver that just aren't settled down with it.
Yeah.
Sainz is making a few tenths up. Still 2.5 seconds out. And Verstappen, again, comes out 5.5 seconds in front of his teammate. So basically a free pit. That's what I call a free pit stop, when you're just so far ahead that you can pit at any moment and still be ahead.
The German commentator just said Russell sent the team sent a radio message to Russell that the engine is overheating.
Ooh. Really? That's not good. And they had that issue last year with the zero pod, so that's why they went with the bigger scoop. So again, to explain that, the side pods, Mercedes went with actually how Red Bull's going now, where it's a lot more minimal.
Red Bull is going the Mercedes way and makes it work, yeah.
But the problem is that you were scooping less air to cool off your brakes. You get more aerodynamic efficiency, but you would run hotter.
Yes. But Mercedes didn't, I don't understand how they had that, all those problems, but although they had the zero pod design, so the car was very narrow, the car was still draggy. Like, very much so.
Yeah, they just got a lot of it wrong.
Like, there were just a lot of things that they didn't understand about that car.
Now, of course,
and
Red Bull
took that concept and made it work.
Yeah, because Adrian Newey is iconic. Like, he's the guy. He's already in the history books.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Across different series, different teams, like whatever he touches turns to gold.
Yeah. Oh, he's the best car designer in the history of the sport, I think.
Yeah. Which is insane, right? You have the best car designer with potentially the best team principal, like best backroom management, best pit crew, just everyone's the best on that
just
team,
everything, yes.
And then you throw Max Verstappen and you wonder why he's 30 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, it's him, but it's also all these other factors.
We will see how Red Bull develops now. They have that shit show of a Horner situation. we don't know how that will end up. Yes, he got cleared by the Red Bull management,
But now the FIA, they're like,
but
well,
not by the FIA. I don't know if you heard, there was a folder leaked and sent to all the team principals and journalists with the alleged WhatsApp messages Horner sent to that Red Bull co-worker.
interesting.
But it's all allegedly right now, so
Of course.
yeah.
It
And
makes
the
for
fun thing
interesting.
is,
Sorry.
the fun thing is, the story is even bigger than we see on the surface right now, because a folder like that with these informations comes from either the person that that was like communicating with Horner,
Yeah.
or it comes from a higher up that could look into the investigation or the folders that were part of the investigation. So
it's from an insider.
there, yeah, and there are rumors if that maybe some of the Red Bull higher ups from the Austrian side want to get rid of Christian Horner, but it's all rumors right now. We don't know anything definite. But
Because
do
he's
you
been
remember?
team principal for, was it 20 years now? Like since the
Yeah,
inception of the team.
yeah. Since they started in, what was it, 2007, I think, something like that. It was the Minardi. No, was it Minardi?
Well, because
What
they're on
was
their
the team
RB20,
before?
right? So it's 20 years.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah, could
55, and
be.
he started when he was 35. So I think it's
Yeah, but
exactly 20.
Ferrari had also the SF1000 2 years ago.
Yeah,
No,
but that's Ferrari.
yeah. Yeah,
Because they
can
had
can
the
can be
SFs.
20 years. Can be 20 years. I think you're right. Yeah,
Regardless, I mean, he's been there forever.
yeah.
He's done
Like
well.
he's the most powerful team principal in the sport. He's the longest tenure team principal in the sport.
You think he's the strongest? Because Toto Wolff, I feel like, is able to pull a lot of strings as well. Like he has his wife involved with things in the
He
female
can,
side.
but Toto is also owner of 33% of the team he manages. So in theory, he's the most powerful like team principal in that sense, because he owns a part of his team and has like a third of the voting rights. But as a like pure just team principal, Horner is the most influential.
Like just
I
as
think.
just being a G.
Yeah.
So the order's settling down. Sainz making just a few fractions a second per lap on Perez. Leclerc not quite in DRS on Russell. So even though Russell might be overheating, Leclerc's having troubles with tires.
Yeah.
Everybody's just settled in. Norris, Piastri, Hamilton, Alonso, Zhu, Tsunoda, Stroll. Everyone's just chilling out right now.
And everything outside of his second right now.
Perez may be having radio issues. You can't hear his engineer. I don't know. Looking at the Alpine, I don't think it looks horrible because they have the pink, right? So even though it's dark, that pink brings up a lot of color.
Yeah.
I don't think it's horrible.
The problem is if you go close with the cameras to the car, it just looks like it hasn't any shine. It has like, I don't know.
Sure.
Like I actually like the color scheme and the geometrical forms and everything they have on the car, but just with the carbon fiber, it doesn't vibe for me.
At the end of the day, it kind of just has to work on television and from the stands, right? As long as the messaging and the marketing gets put across. Because how many people see it that close?
Yeah, you're right with that, yeah.
Sainz continuing to make up a bit of pace.
And
that's going to be
interesting. Still the same. Oh, he made up 2 tenths now.
Just a little bit each lap. Other than that, Sonoda starting to close in, DRSing on Zhou now.
And we're just not even halfway.
Not quite. Lap 24 of 57. I like to see Sonoda make a move there. Just so he can be that P10 merchant. Get that point. Now that's an interesting storyline as well. So V-Carb or Racing Bulls, or nobody really knows how they call them.
Or PayPal, MasterCard, Formula One team.
They've been accused of just copying the Red Bull from last year. But if they just did a straight copy, you'd think that'd be a little bit better than what they're doing.
I agree with that. Lots of teams have problems with how close the two teams are.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like we joked last week. The V-Carb team is the Frosinone to Red Bull.
Yeah.
And they buy lots of parts from them. Like there's a list of parts you can buy from other teams and use them.
But Haas does that with Ferrari, for instance.
Haas does that with Ferrari also. But some of the teams are concerned because Red Bull moved some of the engineers from the factory in Italy to the factory in Milton Keynes where Red Bull is situated.
Yeah.
And they're working next door, basically. And the teams are fearing that there isn't enough control over that, and the FIA has to monitor that more or has to do something about that in the coming years.
It is interesting. Now, the FIA basically always has like eyes and ears in the factory. Like everything's cammed up. Even if they're not physically there, they have
everything is camped up. They can randomly just go there and do checks on everything. They can go through all the PC files and everything, car designs. Yeah.
So they'd have to do a very good job of hiding that, right? Because even if they just whisper to each other, "Hey, this is what I did." The designs are so complicated. I don't think like just a whisper in the ear is gonna like change things.
and even then you have to be careful because you don't know who's part of like if two parties or two persons are talking to each other, like sharing secrets, and there's a third guy in the room, you don't know if that third guy is getting fired tomorrow and then becomes a whistleblower and telling everything. No, the teams like they have to be airtight about these things, like if they cheat.
Yeah. Now, Toto Wolff said he doesn't have any concerns, but then he was also investigated because of how close his wife is involved because she's in charge of the female series.
Yeah.
So, interesting. Lewis Hamilton's seat is broken, speaking of Mercedes.
Yeah.
He's bouncing around as he's used to doing early on in the season.
But he also made half a second up in that broken seat.
Yeah, it's good. Waking him up maybe a little bit. That's funny. Sainz under 2 seconds to Perez now. Leclerc actually...
It's still the same.
It's just kind of hanging. We'll see what the final pit strategy brings about. I'm going to say Leclerc's definitely going back on hards. I think he's going to eat the softs, but Sainz might go on softs. Verstappen, probably some softs. Because he can. Red Bulls in general.
Depending on how long they can keep the hard tires alive.
But they kept the softs alive quite a while, so.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean anything either. Especially if Sainz is going to start to push a little.
Yeah. But also with over the whole race, the cars get lighter, they burn the fuel and everything. So you put less energy with less weight into the tires as well. Tire life becomes better the lighter the cars get. And
Absolutely, good point. But then also the track temperature lowers as well, so you still have to maintain heat in those tires.
Yes.
So a lot to think about.
Yeah.
And in qualifying, it was actually a bit cooler than usual, the track temperature, because it was
Yeah, it
overcast.
was by 2 or 3 degrees only, but it made a big difference in how they warmed up their cars. There were lots of problems with some of them.
And you saw that the Q3 was actually a bit slower than Q2.
A bit slower than Q2, yes.
Because Charles Leclerc had the fastest qualifying lap, but that was in Q2.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter. We need blue 3, position 4 from Elbine. None of my dash is working because of this screen. Okay, so his screen on his wheel, I guess, is flashing around. Yeah, he's stuck. He's stuck. So early software issues, maybe. Broken seats, broken screens.
Yeah, these are the things you find out when you go full force the first time with your car.
Mm-hmm.
Not just chilling and testing.
And the curbs are slightly more aggressive on this track as well. So, and you got to take curb. Like, this is one of those tracks that you have to eat a bit of curb.
Yeah, you have to use the whole track to gain performance. Yeah.
I personally hate this track. Like, driving it, I don't have fun. Like, when I play it in the sim, I just, it's just not fun for me. Not to say it's a bad track. It's actually fairly balanced, but it's just all those squirrely little turns, and it's hard to keep the grip on the ground.
I always hated that very slow downward hairpin onto that straight. I always hated that in the game. You can't see the breaking point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little technical.
Yeah, you lock up even with assist in the Formula 1 game in that corner.
Yeah, and the Formula 1 game is like a simcade. It's not even full arcade. And yeah, I lock up all the time on this track. It's nuts. So it's not a perfect representation, but I think it's a decent representation.
Yeah.
Even if you're not, like I know Frankie was saying he got the game, on controller, whatever. You're not getting the full experience. You don't feel the G's, whatever. But you get an appreciation for the layout and what the drivers, what they have to do throughout the race.
Yeah. Especially on tracks like Monaco. Like when I played the game, Monaco is a horror to drive.
I can't stand it.
That's where where for me the appreciation for these drivers come in, because how many crashes do we see in Monaco still?
I cannot.
Barely any.
Monaco is just like, I just rather not.
Yeah.
I usually just crash and like whatever.
Yeah.
I DQ this one. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
It's just so hard. And Azerbaijan, those two are infuriating.
Azerbaijan is a bit better because they're just like 90-degree corners.
Bit better. It's better, but it's still.
But Monaco's a horror show.
Well, Monaco, the whole track is a horror show. Azerbaijan, just half the track is. The other half is a straight.
Yeah.
2 kilometers straight, the longest straight on the circuit for the Formula 1
Do you remember when they brought the Azerbaijan GP the first time in, and the whole straight was the DRS straight? Now they activated halfway through. Back then they had like the moment you come out of that final 90-degree corner, you could activate the DRS.
And Bottas, I think it was Bottas, got the fastest record in F1 doing that, 276 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like 250 these days is like, these days in Azerbaijan, I think you can hit like 250.
Yeah.
She's going 276. So Sainz now dropping back a little bit. Perez finding that pace again, maybe pushing, opening it up. And Leclerc saying that his tire life is doing well. But Russell's still splitting them.
Yeah. And Tsunoda on 10. Caught that one good.
There you go. 10 seconds behind Alonso. So Alonso looks like he'll have a comfortable race. Just bring it on home. 27 laps to go. So we are now just past the halfway point.
Let's see how horrible my fantasy team does.
Yes. Speaking of which, the fantasy team. We should talk about that. The easiest way, honestly, I should put a link in the description if I remember, but show the Discord. Sorry. Here, if I go like this. No, your face is still covered by it. It'll be temporary. But that is the QR code to get down the Discord, and there's an F1 section in there. We got links to the fantasy team. Of course, you'll miss the first race, but 23 more to go. And you know what? I haven't decided yet because I have not completely built up the merch store, but I'm thinking of doing an F1 specific shirt or hoodie or something or other. So I don't know what the prize is yet, but there'll be prizes. Even if it's just a t-shirt. I'll give you something.
Yeah.
Small beginnings,
so everybody
right?
join.
And oh my God. Canadian tax system. I need to make phone calls.
Oh.
It's just, bureaucracies. They set up these things on the internet to make things easy, and then they don't work. So, you got to figure that side out too to get the store running in 100% order as well. So,
it's the same story here.
Oh, I know it's everywhere, but that's part of the holdup. That's why there's only like a t-shirt and a mug there, because I just wanted to test some things out. But that's still to come in the next couple weeks. There should be a lot more coming there.
So after qualifying yesterday, you are at P1 right now with 77 points.
Nice.
And I am on P10 with 48 points.
Oh man, yeah, I thought I did well, but it took a while for it to update, and it hadn't updated when I checked. So
yeah, they update it always very late. Their servers,
So that's cool. So I mean, it's just one qualifying, but I'm in first. I'll take it for now.
2 or 3 years ago, when F1 Fantasy wasn't that common, you could even see like mid-race they updated the points and positions and everything.
Yeah, I guess there's just probably millions. Bottas is on fire. His brakes, he's smoking. And they got the wrong tire? Oh, wow. This is not looking good by Kick. They might be done anyways. He's smoking.
Oh, man.
Russell in. Maybe try to do the undercut now. That puts Sainz and Leclerc up a spot down to 3-4.
And George is in.
So George obviously going for the undercut strategy. So to explain that, that's pitting early, getting your tires under temperature. So you have
Bottas, 52-second pit stop.
Yeah, because of his brakes. They had to let his brakes stop catching fire. Now, Sargent's a minute 33 back. So Verstappen will be coming back onto the back markers.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're showing the Bottas thing again. They got his tire on. Interesting. So the wheel went on, but they had to take it off for whatever reason.
Looks like the wheel nut wasn't attached properly.
It happens. I mean, they're designed to get slammed on there, but once in a while.
And look how Max just casually made 10 seconds up.
Who did, sir?
Max is now made
Max.
again 10 seconds on.
Oh, yes.
On
Yeah,
Perez, just casually.
Just cruising. Yeah, just cruising away. Because Perez is in clean air too. So again, just Max is that much quicker.
I think what was the pit difference? 21 seconds or something like that?
Like how long in pits?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's typically 22 seconds, give or take. I did not see what the official call.
On his teammate in a few laps.
Yeah, another free pit. But he's making time up on Sainz again after, he pushed a little bit, it looks like, but then his tires must not have quite been good enough to maintain. But he's still in that 3-second range.
Yes.
So he's maintaining some sort of pace with the Red Bull. But then Leclerc 11 seconds back on Sainz, and then Norris still like 3 seconds.
It's crazy how Leclerc lost just all this time.
It really is insane. They must have got something just completely wrong on the setup this week.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no point in trying to go for pole position if you're going to lose it after the first couple laps, right? Hamilton.
But you also can be Lewis Hamilton, set up your car for the race, qualify at 9, and just stay at 7.
And just stay there. Yes, it's hard. It's hard. He's coming out at 9th again from the pits. He did make a couple spots up, but
Norris came in too.
$23 laps to go. It's clearly Verstappen's race, but might still be some drama. The beginning of the race was very, very tight, but it's the long-term pace that's clearly making the difference at this point.
Yeah.
So Noda's pretty close to Hamilton.
Right behind him.
But I think once Hamilton gets that heat into his tire, he's probably gone. So we'll see Piastri now in 5th. We'll see what the strategy is there. And Leclerc coming in. Yes. So bit of the strategy now. McLaren and Ferrari, they're trying to jockey positions with the pit strategy, that is. Piastri coming in as well.
And Piastri has, it looks like he got on top of his tire management problems he had last year. He looks really good.
Piastri, yeah. I mean, second season, right? And he's still, he competes every weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, Piastri just sneaks past and goes wide. Loses out to Hamilton coming out of the pits.
So the undercut worked, but it's crazy. That was a 2-second undercut.
Yeah, so we have now Sainz still in 3rd, Russell 30 seconds behind Alonso, and Leclerc behind Alonso waiting for him to pit. So
the undercut worked.
Yeah, Norris 1.2 seconds behind Leclerc. It's interesting. Yeah, I made up some time there.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. And Hamilton now 5 seconds back on Norris. Let's see if he makes that time up.
And also Norris right behind Leclerc.
And we do have Sainz in the pit. See how this one makes out. Clean. 2.2 seconds.
Man, I definitely chose the wrong Ferrari driver for my team.
I did like a Max Leclerc team and I did a Perez Sainz team.
Yeah. I just have my one, and I thought or hoped that if I have better depth in my team, that it will maybe kind of work better than just putting Max in and giving him the double
but,
boost, but
but you get so
didn't
many
work
more
as well as I
points.
thought. Yeah.
Like the split difference higher up the field in points, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of worth just to get those points. But Leclerc overtaking Alonso pretty comfortably there, back into fifth. So Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Russell, Leclerc, Alonso, Norris, Hamilton, Piastri, Albon, top 10. Sonoda back in 14th, waiting for some pits to get his P10 merchantry. 20 laps to go. Oh, Alonso slipping a little bit, allowing Norris now to overtake here, coming in on the inside and gets that position. Perez in the pits. Let's see the signs. Does he take it here? It will be tight.
Easy for Norris. Perez in the pits.
Oh, I don't think Sainz is... No. Not quite enough. But now Sainz is within a couple seconds of Perez again. But he's on the softs. Is that the strategy, Perez? 20 laps on the softs.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a gamble, but he might just be able
It's
to
a bit
do
of
it.
a gamble, but maybe with the Red Bull and the tire life in their car.
They know what they're doing. Already he's getting heat into that tire and starting to get that gap. So that's really what it is build the gap on Sainz. Don't allow him to get any DRS and just cruise the last few laps under the worn tires. Verstappen taking another free pit stop.
41 seconds right now.
2.2 seconds, and the pit crew never rests either.
Yeah.
Albon doing a 2.8 there, 15th spot. And even just half a second between pit crews at the top and the bottom, right? All those little differences. Verstappen coming out.
Leclerc, by the way, with the fastest lap.
And he does get a fastest lap. That worth an extra point, assuming you finish in the top 10. I don't see that holding, though. Usually doesn't.
At least in the last lap, Max will go for it.
or Hamilton. Either one
depends
of those.
Depends on the gap behind them.
Yeah, it does. But Hamilton has been known if he's in a position to give it a go. And it looks like Mercedes is going to be in a position where they'll take any of those extra points that they can, because it's going to be tight. It's probably going to be tight again. Like I still think Ferrari should have got second place last year over Mercedes. I'm claiming some conspiracy theories.
No, I agree actually. Mercedes was just faster in some spurts. Ferrari was faster than the Mercedes usually in the most races, but they have again their strategy and operational stuff they didn't sort out.
Yeah, interesting. And I don't know. I feel like Hamilton gets away with calls sometimes just because of his star stature. Again, it's a bit of a conspiracy. Yeah, I feel there's a couple calls there that if it went the other way would have put Ferrari those couple points ahead. But 3 points between second and third place in the constructors, that's extremely tight.
That's very close over a 23 race season.
It was essentially one position on the grid on the last day. That's all it was. All right, so there's Hamilton taking Alonso now for 7th. Back into his best position of the race. Still 5 seconds to Norris, though. Leclerc actually starting now to gain on Russell again. Insane. Sainz maintaining 2 seconds, even though he's on the hards from Perez's soft. So still some room for drama at the end.
Yeah.
Comica's joining us. How's it going, bud? That's all you can hope for, some last minute drama, right? The mid race tends to drag
some
on.
last lap fights, yeah.
Like, this is the part of the NASCAR race where you go and go out to the store for another case of Bud Light.
You go make an espresso or something like that.
Yeah.
Always after all the cars finish their pit stops, you have a bit of time to chill.
Yeah, this is chill mode. Which is fine. Every sport.
And Verstappen just took the fastest lap.
Yeah, there you go. Because he's on softs, fresh tires. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. The only thing that might change is, say, somebody else grabs a fastest lap. He has a 30-second gap again, and he comes in for fresh tires. Yeah. Which he did. Was it Barcelona? What race was it? Was it Spain last year that he did it?
I think it was.
Where he told his engineers, like, no, I'm coming in anyways, fresh tires, let's go.
No, Spain was kind of close, I think.
Was it Austria?
Was it?
It was one of those shorter, quick.
I think it was Austria. Yeah, I think you're right.
Are we winning? Depends who your team is, Comicus. Red Bull's doing a 1-2 right now. Then we have Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari. McLaren, Mercedes. So basically Red Bull's winning.
This season is one of the typical ones where you just forget the top team and focus on everything that's behind. There's all the fun between all the other teams.
Yeah, I think until the rule change, that's kind of what we're going to get. And I wonder, too, is Adrian Newey going to stay with Red Bull? Or is he going to move on or retire or die?
Yeah.
He's pretty old.
We will see. He's pretty old, yeah. With that age and that money, I would have retired, had a good life.
Yeah. I'm going to say Ferrari's probably going to lock in a third place finish today, barring anything. But Leclerc actually making up 1.1 seconds to Russell. So maybe a 3-4 for Ferrari, which is honestly
the best you can hope for.
Yeah, with Red Bull's dominance, if you do a 3-4, you're like, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but you know.
But it's crazy to see the field spread. Just the top 10 are all the 5 same teams.
Yeah.
And behind that, all the rest. Like, there you see the difference between the top teams and like the B teams, so to say.
Well, it's nice to see that McLaren and Aston Martin have both really kind of got their development in check and can compete. Maybe not for the top 3, but at least, get a podium here and there.
Yeah.
Mixes things up a little bit.
In an ideal world, we would have to have the Alpines in the top 10 as well, but my God. Yeah. They're next to Mercedes and Ferrari, who's also a works team that builds their own engine and their own car. Is it?
And that's part of the problem.
And they are one of those that has the resources to build an own engine that fits in their own chassis and
they just do a bad job at it.
But they do a very bad job at it. It's a toxic team, toxic environment, two drivers that don't like each other.
There's that, yeah. Comicus used to support Williams with Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve. It's going back a little bit, yeah.
That was a nice era of Formula One, but I wasn't around back then.
Yeah, like obviously, being Canadian, we knew a lot about the Villeneuve family. It's definitely a thing for us. And well, the Montreal track is named after him.
Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, I think.
Yeah, Gilles. Jacques was the son.
The actually good Villeneuve.
The better one, yeah. Well, Jacques did pretty well in Indy, but
he was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, he was not quite his father. He was more his father than Mick was his father.
Oh no. Mick can't even touch the footsteps of his uncle Ralph.
He's still a reserve driver. He's in the mix, but yeah, he's not there, unfortunately. So Leclerc is gonna start making a move on Russell. He's getting in there. Oh, tight into turn one, just to close the gap a little bit. It's on. We'll see. It's like Leclerc, maybe the lighter card's coming alive. $15 laps of fuel left in there, so shouldn't make quite the difference in the weight distribution. Yeah, 7/10 back.
But where does this performance come from all of a sudden?
Again, because the car was set up for quali, it could just. I'm going with the weight.
And now that the car gets lighter, you burn the fuel. Maybe it's better for a setup now. Yeah.
Yeah, just the way the car's bouncing around as well. All those little things. It's working though. He's got lots of time to make that, and of course, defend it. We'll see. It is hard to follow with these current generation of cars. Lots of dirty air coming off of them. So he will want to pass sooner than later.
Yeah.
Coming into the turn one straight again. Let's see how he dives into it. No, just maintaining this time around. Oh no, that wasn't the turn one. That's my bad. That was the alternate starting line. When do we expect the hard tire to be quicker than soft? That's coming from Sainz. Because he's now at 3.2 seconds from Perez. So yes, there will be.
Honestly, I think the very late.
Probably very late, yeah. But Sainz, I mean, it's just when does he start pushing, essentially?
Yeah.
But yeah, when the soft drops, it should drop off fairly hard, relatively speaking. Yeah. So Sainz ready. Around this lap, the hard should be faster than the soft. Interesting. Okay, so that will give him 12, 13 laps of an advantage, perhaps.
And Leclerc stays on Russell's tail.
Yeah. I do want to see him get out of that dirty air.
And the team said around this lap, the hard should be faster.
Russell's obviously going to start pushing now, so the race is on. Does he start making mistakes? Does he hold true?
Yeah.
Coming down the straight. Oh, tight again, but not enough. Russell doing well to defend.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple more laps of that, just shaving a bit of time off, and he should be able to make that lunge.
P6, 7, and 8 look locked in. 4 seconds between all of them.
Yeah, not much going on there. Leclerc, 6.5 tenths. Feed's cutting out a little bit. Oh boy. No, we're back. Okay. Just bad camera. Yeah, Leclerc still making some time. Sainz waiting to make some time. Holding at 3.2. And Russell getting ready to defend down the final straight here again. Man, this high camera angle makes it look like they're going so slow, but they're going 320 kilometers an hour.
It's incredible how slow the cars look on the TV cameras. But have you seen like when some fans record them with their phone, how fast that looks when they go around the corners? It's incredible.
Yeah, a lot closer. So 4 tenths now. So he's making about 2 tenths up a lap on Russell. Interesting. 46 of 57. Sainz losing a tenth on Perez. Oh, and Russell locks. And it's tire to tire, pulling ahead, coming into the turn, and there's Leclerc.
I'll be there in a second. Oh, that was a bad lockup. Man.
I put myself back about 10 seconds, so hopefully we're a little bit more in line. So we have Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Hamilton, Piastri, Stroll, Alonso.
Do you know what I think what is actually crazy? Verstappen has a 17-second lead right now. If you break that down, he only like makes up 2.5 tenths a lap. That is crazy.
That's a lot.
And how big these differences are between genius and idiot in car building, or in this case with his teammate, and just the pure performance the driver makes the difference in.
Yeah, because if you take Verstappen out of it, you'd be like, yeah, Red Bull's a faster car, but just marginally so, right? But then you look at Verstappen, it's like, it's just God mode. That's all it is. Verstappen's just God mode.
Yeah.
And Dana coming in. We're doing F1 as well. We're branching out to as many sports as the community's down for. Like wrestling, WWE is apparently super big. So you and Dasher are going to have to get down on that, because I won't know what I'm talking about. What's next month? There's one coming up, isn't there?
WrestleMania is coming up in April.
April, yes. Yeah, you guys got to do that.
That's the next big one, and it's 2 nights, the Saturday and the Sunday, but I don't know the exact date right now, which one it was. But yeah. And we will do that in the Discord, I think. I don't know if somebody wants to do watch along or just a watch party in Discord. We will see. Yeah, we'll figure things out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we can do it live. So it's April 6th and 7th. That is just before I leave. Yes, because I'm going on vacation again. What times though? Where are they doing it?
Oof. For you, honestly, I don't know. For me, it's 2 a.m.
7 p.m. Okay.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. I think we can. Dash to do it. Again, I can't do it because I'm dumb. I know nothing about it.
I think Dash will be there definitely, but we need you for your one-liners again.
I can do one-liners, but don't expect me to
You're the most entertaining part of the whole show.
Well, yeah, when the show is crap, I guess. That last one. Yeah, 3.6 seconds back now, Sainz is. So
Norris and Hamilton are closing up bit by bit on Russell.
Yeah, Norris 3 seconds back. So, man, does Russell lose a spot? 8 laps? Who knows? Well, that could be interesting as well. Not a good look for Mercedes. Piastri probably finishing in 8th. I don't see him catching Hamilton at this point.
Yeah.
4 seconds
And
back.
Hamilton won't catch Norris either. 4 seconds, he won't get that in the last 8 laps.
If anybody could, Hamilton could perhaps make a push, get some battery charge built up. Who knows? It's a bit of a long shot, but I can see that maybe getting exciting. But Norris, Russell, that's what I'm looking to. Yeah, we hope F1's huge, so we're hoping that this helps bring more people in. Just broaden our horizons.
It's also just we are fans of different things than just football or Juventus in this case. We like F1, we like wrestling, we like food, we have very common interests we like to talk about. And
yeah, I mean people in general just, and even if the interests aren't common, like you guys learn me about wrestling and anime and some other weird things that I know nothing about. So I mean you learn off people. Bring the world together.
Yeah, I still need to learn some hockey now.
Yeah, well, you never joined when I was streaming it in Discord, so that's on you. Maybe for the playoffs. The NHL playoffs are really exciting.
Yeah.
And that will be coming up in April as well.
Right.
Yeah, I can bust out all my Maple Leafs jerseys.
I have to understand the sport first, but I try to be there.
It's not super complicated, honestly. It's like most sports where there's a net on either end. You just gotta put whichever device that you're using into that net.
To be fair, I think American football is the most complicated sport I have ever seen, but I have got into that pretty quickly as well.
It's very complicated, but watching it is it's funny. Like you have to understand, you'd have to really appreciate the technical aspects of NFL for it to be interesting, I find.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just an excuse for fat chicken wing eating Americans to drink more beer. You know,
they make it even hard on you understanding what a catch is. You need to do 2 steps. You need to get both feet down, and otherwise it's not a catch. And all that fun stuff.
The nuances of it,
Yeah.
Is there any sign RB getting tight competition this season?
Oh no, forget that one.
No, I mean not with Verstappen, Perez. I don't think it's going to be a Red Bull 1-2 every single week.
Yeah,
you're gonna see Ferrari
Verstappen will
getting
be dominant,
up there.
most definitely.
Yeah, Ferrari. You're gonna see a bit of McLaren and Mercedes in that 2-3 spot on the regular. Maybe even some Alonso. Alonso's going to get a podium this year, I'm going to predict.
Oh yeah, I think honestly everybody that is in the top 10 now, maybe outside of Stroll, will get a podium at least.
Yeah.
And there's always there's always the one random podium from, I don't know, like Racing
Magnussen.
Bulls and Magnussen or whoever. We will see.
Yeah. But Ocon on the other Frenchman,
Gasly.
They both got a podium last year as well. So I don't know if they're doing it this year.
Hey, and they're both race winners actually, even.
Yeah. So you never know.
You never know. One crazy safety car, a crazy rain, like completely rain-washed race. Yeah, we will see.
And that's the other interesting thing. We didn't even get a yellow. Like this has been one of the cleanest races.
outside of the spin in the first lap, there was nothing.
And that was a partial yellow. Like that wasn't even full yellow, and he rejoined the race.
Just spun back around and the Sargent one. but he also brought the car on track again.
V-carbs battling each other a little bit there. Ricardo trying to pick 13 place off Tsunoda. He fell out of that 10-11 spot, unfortunately. I was expecting a little more from V-carb. Not gonna lie, I thought they might be pushing that like
Honestly,
7th to 10th.
I think they're exactly where they are. I think they will be a bit better than last season, but I don't know if they can compete with the other teams with their monetary power and with the engineering help they get. Like McLaren and Aston Martin are like buying the engineers off of Red Bull and Mercedes. Mercedes is still somewhere in that group, and Ferraris, yeah, since 2022 in the top two teams.
So
So
Sonoda's
it's
getting
very hard to
upset.
join that group.
Yeah, sorry, Sonoda's just yelling on the radio
Yeah.
there because they want to swap Ricardo with Sonoda for 13th, 14th. But they're battling Magnussen for 12th, so they just want to go out there and race. None of them are getting any points today, which is what's interesting about it all.
Yep. There are some discussions whether to give out points to 1st to 19th.
Yeah.
So you have till the last lap a reason to actually fight for positions. And honestly, I don't think that's a bad proposition.
I don't mind that either. Yeah.
Some older gatekeepers say no, it's not traditional, just the top drivers deserve to take points home. But
But they've already expanded it.
Yeah, but I think if you want to do like something that's not artificial and get the drivers to fight on track, honestly, just give everybody points and like go downwards with the points shared, and
absolutely
like they will fight for every single point.
Well, because it was first, I think, only up to the 7th. Now it's up to the 10th.
It was up in like back in the day. It was the
even more.
top five only.
Yeah, and they kept on just
and then they went to
adding more.
Around Schumacher's time. It was the top 8 only, and then I don't know, 2000 mid 2000 10th or no, not 10th. Sorry, early 2000s, something like that. They went to 10. And then they went even the winner gets 25 points. Even with that, the fans didn't agree. That was also a big like argument point. But yeah.
But then things change and people are happy and they forget about
Yeah.
the past. Yeah.
And everybody forgot.
I always get upset when it's like, oh, it has to be this way because that's the way it's always been. And they're like, no, it hasn't always been that way.
Yeah. Do you remember the discussions about the Halo where everybody said, no, it's not traditional. It needs to be an open cockpit sport.
Yeah. But then people are dying. So,
do you have rather a driver dying or a closed cockpit? So,
and it's not even a closed cockpit. Like, let's not be ridiculous. Well, and then Indy has the whole the glass, like that's more enclosed and it's still open.
And that is engineered by Red Bull Technologies also.
Yeah, and it seems to work well.
Yeah.
The Halo is more of a compromise because they just try to protect things while keeping it more open.
Yeah, and it's like right in front of the driver's eyes as well.
Yeah. Yeah, where the glass, I mean, just it's all see-through. It's like driving any other car that has glass.
The glass got tested in F1. One of the complaints was like if you drive around with 300 kilometers per hour, the glass in front of you gets like dirty. You collect everything on the way.
Oh yeah.
And they weren't willing to take that risk. Because like the driver visor, you can just pull the screen off and it's clean again.
Yeah.
But you can't do that, of course, while driving, like grabbing outside.
And that is legitimate. I do understand that because I hate a dirty windshield myself. It's infuriating.
Yeah.
Or like if you go skiing and you fog up and you're just like going down the hill blind, don't know what's going on.
Can you imagine F1 with windshield wipers?
I mean, they get the little like thing on the side. Yeah, I'm sure they exist. Couple laps left here, though. Things look pretty locked in at this point. Norris isn't going to make up that time in a couple laps. 1.8.
The only thing is right now Norris is close to Russell, but I don't know in the last 2 laps if everything's if something's gonna happen. But the rest looks pretty set.
Except the V-carbs. Tsunoda giving the spot to Ricciardo and now complaining that Ricciardo's not going quick enough. So team tension there between Ricciardo and Tsunoda. 13th and 14th. Not the way you want to really start the year off with.
Especially if it's for no points, the arguments.
Yeah. But otherwise, very much what I think was predicted. Barring a last lap crash or anything crazy here. You got the 2 Red Bulls up top, Max with the 20-second lead. Sainz with a 12 seconds lead from Leclerc. That's impressive enough.
That's very impressive.
Now, Dana's sitting here looking like Perez struggling with the same car. Now, is Perez struggling? Or is Max God mode?
Or is Max just,
That's probably like splitting the difference somewhere.
Yeah, it's honestly right down the middle. The car's excellent, but it's all also set up to Max's liking.
And this is actually a pretty quick race, just over an hour and a half. Nice and clean.
No yellows, no safety cars.
Yeah, this is one of the quick, very quick race.
Straightforward.
Which is fine. My sister and her family are visiting in a couple hours, so I can do some last minute cleaning,
No car has retired, nothing, just straightforward.
Yeah, good to go. Ricciardo looking for 12th still, though. Half a second. Maybe we got a bit of racing left. Hefe, who's winning, guys? Just came back from playing street football. We have Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Hamilton, Piastri, Alonso, Stroll. So it's all Red Bull, Ferrari, Merc, McLaren, and Aston Martin picking up points.
The final lap.
Yep. And that's pretty much the points. We're going to finish that way. So there's a clear top 5 teams and a clear bottom 5 teams. But Ricciardo racing. See what he does. Oh. That
so
tight right turn.
My brother said Verstappen 1, Perez 2, Leclerc 3, Sainz 4. He flipped those guys. The Ferraris are flipped around. He got Russell and Norris right.
Oh, wow.
He got Piastri and Hamilton flipped. He got Alonso right. And Albon is his 10th. Man, he got nearly everything.
That's not bad.
That's a great prediction.
It's hard to predict 10 straight, and that's pretty close. But this is final lap. Max cruising to victory once again.
Yep.
Well, at least it's not like 45 seconds.
At least that. But also, till the rules change, I don't want to give anybody false hopes. It will change. It will stay this way till the end of 2025.
Yeah, 2 more years, guys.
Oh, yeah. But F1 is always like this.
So Red Bull uses...
F1 always goes in errors, everybody.
Yeah. Red Bull's currently on a Honda engine. which for the new rules, Honda's going to Aston Martin and Red Bull's picking up Ford.
Yep.
So Honda. I'm a big Honda fan, so Max does win it. Perez, Sainz, Leclerc all over the line.
Man, Sainz, honestly, what a race. Great
14 and a half second lead over his teammate. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Sainz has something to prove this year.
Oh, he wants to shut everybody up, and also he wants a good seat for next year.
Contract year Sainz.
For example, if you're Sainz and the Red Bull seats get free, would you take the seat next to Max, or don't you want that competition?
As long as you know what your role is
on the podium.
Yeah, you have to know what your role is. Does Sainz want to be a number one driver? That's really what the question is. You could be the best number two driver in the world, or you can just be a number one somewhere. I don't know. It's hard to say. But there is race weekend number one, Bahrain Grand Prix.
In the books.
In the books. I guess at the end of the day, not anything too exciting, too different. It's just a very clean race.
Yeah, straightforward. Nothing crazy. I think not boring either. They were pretty good duels.
Now, that being said, are we doing this again next week?
I'll be there.
Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Saturday, March 10th.
Saturday again.
Yeah, another Saturday one.
Yep.
Yeah, Hamilton started 9th, finished 7th. He got stuck behind a lot of people. And Mercedes just, they're quick, just not quick enough.
Yep.
That's how she is. So, man, we didn't even do the whole like and subscribe thing, guys. Do the like, subscribe. You can tell my mouth is getting dry too. That's the thing with F1 commentating. It's constant. You don't get a break with it. But Dave, thank you for helping out. This is the first time we're doing it. It was successful. No technical issues.
I was a bit nervous as well, my first time on stream, but
I just threw you in. There's no prep. Just bam, there you go. But you did great. It was awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So on that note, do like, subscribe, and we'll get back to football. So I'm taking the rest of the weekend off because I do have out-of-town guests I do have to entertain. So Dash is taking over. We have the call-in show tonight, 5:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central European. And then, of course, game day tomorrow, Juve Napoli. So Dash is going to take the reins as well. I never really got into MotoGP, but you can always come on and do it. Why not? Yeah. We'll try anything once. Oh, and thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. We do really bad at advertising ourselves on social media because we're just a bunch of old men that don't know how to use Twitter.
Boomers.
Yeah, a bunch of boomers here. So we need some guys that are a little better at it to help us out. Otherwise, Dave, you got any last thoughts or anything you want to say?
Like and subscribe. Join us next week. We're doing the same again. I don't know the times yet, but we'll make it happen.
So it's 12 Eastern, so that will be 6 p.m. For you, Central European. So about 20 minutes before that. So there you go. That's when we're doing it next week.
And the street track. Maybe it will be more exciting, more crashes, more flames. We will see.
Saudi. It was a good, clean start. That's all we wanted. Let's start off the season. Here we go. But back to footy.
The first Saudi Arabia race, we got explosions, oil chemicals company or something like that got shot up by terrorists. We will see what happens in Saudi next week.
Never know. You never know. But yes, join us for that. Join us for all our footy stuff, and stay tuned for whatever other random sports we decide to do. Because now we're just a sports channel. But Juve first. The intro, not the outro. That's the outro. Sorry about that.
Yeah, there you have it.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and see y'all later. KB.